Good morning and welcome to 7 at 7, your daily news capsule to get you clued in for the day. It's Thursday, the 12th of September, and I'm your host, Anirban Chaudhary. Even as the neck-and-neck Harris-Trump race keeps getting tighter by the day, the US markets are reacting to more fundamental stuff. Stocks stumbled in early trading on a 0.2% raise in the Consumer Price Index, which is a broad measure of goods and services cost. For a while, it dampened hopes for a Fed rate cut which is expected in September, but the market soon bounced back as investors looked favorably at other data, including a decline in August inflation numbers, a decline actually to its lowest level since February 2021. So, the S&P 500 gained 1.07% at close. This was actually the first time since October 2022 when it fell 1% and then closed at more than 1%. Some rally that. We will see if the optimism continues. Now, you've been consuming news about Apple and its much-touted iPhone 16 launch, but things at its South Korean rival are somewhat bleak. Reuters reported that Samsung, the world's largest maker of smartphones, plans to cut up to 30% of its jobs in several markets across the world. The cuts will be in the sales, marketing, and administrative divisions. The Reuters report attributed the move to several challenges, including a slow recovery in Samsung's chip business and tough competition, especially from Apple. In India, the company has begun to give severance packages to mid-level employees. The report said that some 1,000 people may be laid off. Remember, Samsung has 267,800 employees worldwide. The company, on its part, called the cuts routine. It also said that it hasn't set any target for the cuts and that no production jobs will be impacted. In India, the IPO season is not ending anytime soon. The 6,560 crore rupees listing of Bajaj Housing Finance set multiple records on Wednesday. The issue was subscribed 64 times on the final day of bidding, and it attracted bids of nearly 3.23 lakh crore rupees. That marks the highest ever demand for a maiden share issue in Indian primary market history. The Bajaj Housing IPO set another record by receiving 8.9 million applications, surpassing the previous record of 7.36 million held by Tata Technologies. It's a good time to raise funds, and as we've said before, IPOs are not the only way companies are doing it. Vedanta Resources Wednesday priced $900 million of 5-year bonds raised through a subsidiary at 10.875%. Proceeds from this bond sale will help refinance existing debt at the holding company of the Metals and Resources conglomerate. The instruments are due for redemption in 2029. The offering saw a good response from global investors, drawing $1.45 billion in orders, which saw an oversubscription of over 1.6x. Here's more good news. Ford is likely to make a formal announcement of its return to India strategy soon, 2 years after it stopped producing cars here. The company's strategy will initially include full imports of cars, followed by assembly of completely knocked down kits. It is currently doing a feasibility study on producing some of its SUVs and the Mustang range in India. More good news. The government has approved 2 major schemes that will together give a 14,335 crore rupees boost to the EV industry. The first is the PM E-Drive scheme with an outlay of 10,900 crore rupees over 2 years. Now this replaces the FAME schemes that have pumped in about 20,000 crore rupees in this sector in 2 phases. The second upcoming one is the PM E-Bus Seva Payment Security Mechanism or PSM scheme, which will allocate a budget of 3,435 crore rupees. And here is the final piece of good news for today. The government is working towards rolling out the second phase of the India Semiconductor Mission, which will focus on getting component and raw material suppliers to set up shop in the country. This is, of course, apart from plans to set up chip fabrication and packaging units. Electronics and IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said that in the new phase of the ISM, the government will work to increase the availability of raw materials for chip making. The focus, he said, is on developing the entire ecosystem across equipment, specialized materials, specialized gases, and chemicals. SPA. On that positive note, we wrap up your news capsule for today. We're taking a break on Friday and we'll get back to you on Monday. Keep listening wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to grab a copy of The Economic Times for more news. Thank you and have a good weekend.